we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break podcast. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from Lakers Fast Break, Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast, plus also as well Game Source, and of course Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Got another great show covering the world of fantasy football, preparing you, that's right, you, for your fantasy football draft by going ahead and checking out all the great episodes we got upcoming for you at Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Joe doing the Laker Tom lean in there for you while he's munching down on a snack pack there for you. Oh, apropos for a
Fruit.
Laker snack pack. Good, healthy. That's very good.
The other
Absolutely.
white meat.
Okay. Yeah, something like that. All right. Well, speaking of Mr. Munchie, you can find him munching at, of course, LakersBall.com. It's Ox1947. Plus, he also munches his way with his own business, as you see him stretching out there. Symblates with the Y.com. Also, as well, of course, our good friends, Mr. Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom. Laker Tom is still looking for love out there from some Laker fans who don't think he's crazy. So go ahead and find out why with his latest article, 10 questions the Lakers must answer. 10 different Lakers, of course, must answer in order for them to win the championship. And as you saw on Lakerholics Spotlight this past weekend, they couldn't even get past number 5 live on the air. So go ahead and check out the entire list of Laker Tom right there, the number 1 Lakers blogger that's out there, along with Jamie Sweet and those 5 things articles today at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend John McCallion. John McCallion is always having some good streams on life. Just stuff for as far as for his determination for where he wants to go with his weight loss, plus also as well some inspirational talk as well. So go ahead and check out the John McCallion channel on YouTube. And speaking of YouTube, go ahead and click on right there, BDI Joe right there, little BDI Joe. Go ahead. It's right next to Sean. It's not going to attack Sean. It might though, but the only way you can prevent that from happening, maybe, is by clicking on it today and subscribing to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the latest Lakers Fast Break. Plus also, we've got some good things that we've been talking about in the background that we've got coming up on the way for you. Not only great shows like tomorrow, we've got Mike Anguilano coming by once again for the, I guess, another great team report, this time on the Detroit Pistons, because he also happens to do not only a article now and then for the Cavaliers, but he also goes ahead and does a great job doing a podcast on the Detroit Pistons. So go ahead and check him out there. So he'll be stopping by tomorrow. Plus also as well, we got on Friday, Empire Jeff TV. He's going to be stopping by as well on Friday. So looking forward to that. And check out his channel. Subscribe today on YouTube. And if you could do all that, plus our social media, Lakers Fast Break, just type that in there. Or Courtside Lakers on Instagram. Always got to forget that. And also, hit me up, Gerald Glassford on LinkedIn. I'm looking for 100 connections. I need just about 10 more. Like we need only 55 more here followers on YouTube. I only need about 14, 15 more connections on LinkedIn so I can show this live on LinkedIn. Of course, that's the Lakers Fast Break podcast. But thanks, everyone, for joining us. The chat has already started at the world's best Lakers chat room. That's right here, the Lakers Fast Break. Interesting things happened today in the world of the NBA. One of them was, of course, leading to James Harden, who was slapped on the wrist by the old NBA. We'll talk about that coming up in a bit. But the first one that might interest Lakers fans, something we have talked a little bit about, but didn't want to go into too much detail unless it actually happened. And it looks like, according to Charania and Adrian Wojnarowski, who tried to one-up each other again in regards to topping each other. I will say, though, that it was a nice competition, but it looks like Sean got the early decision on this one, where he reported that the Dallas Mavericks are in the process of waiving and stretching the contract for JaVale McGee so that they could sign Markieff Morris. Put your own Lakers championship innuendo type deal there as far as the irony in that statement I just made. But one Lakers champion comes in, one goes out. But it's in the process, and it's going to be a waive and stretch because you have until next week to waive and stretch a contract. So with that in mind, JaVale McGee will be a free agent. Oh my gosh, I don't know what he's up to now, but maybe I don't want to know. But it is JaVale McGee. He is, he's waving by, wave and stretch. There you go, wave and stretch. I will say though that JaVale McGee is going to be a free agent. Yeah, I know the first time I did, but I will say I'm trying to host the show. Gosh darn it! Give me a break, and I got to interpret your at the same time. All right, but I will say JaVale McGee is now going to be a free agent. A lot of people have been talking about him returning to the Lakers for a reunion. Was this the master plan for Rob Pelinka on why he kept the 14th spot all along? We'll talk about that on the show. I know a lot of people have already talked about that already across Lakers media. And I know there was some comments earlier before we went on the show by, let me see the guy's name that was on here. And I do appreciate you putting on there. Graston. Graston said, no, they were not waiting for JaVale, LOL. Was this a clickbait title to get you to back in here to talk with us here at the Lakers Fast Break? Yeah, sure, it was a clickbait article, as far as the title is concerned. But you know what? That's what we're going to do sometimes to get you involved right here in the middle of August, because it takes a lot to get you involved in the middle of August right here at the Lakers Fast Break. But here today, talk about what's going on with JaVale McGee is a good man indeed. He is the munching man from LakersBall.com. It's Ox1947. It is Joe Sorrell from Simblades with the Y.com. JaVale McGee is going to be a free agent. Your thoughts on this, my friend? Are you excited? Or are you like many people like me thinking that this time is no longer for JaVale McGee? There was a time that he was really going to be good for us, and it actually worked out that way. But I think that time is coming past.
What do they do to dogs when they take them to the farm?
Oh my gosh!
And they open the door. Remember in the Wolf of Wall Street when DiCaprio is talking to Jonah Hill, and he's like, just go.
I thought you were going to say a horse in the glue factory. So
no. I can't go. I can't really talk about 99% of that movie, but that part was somewhat PG 13ish. But yeah, it's like just go. JaVale McGee, you were an asset in 2020. If AD hadn't gotten hurt in 2021, you would have been an even bigger asset. But I wish you well, and I hope you do well. You deserve it. And that's all I got.
Isn't it so funny, though? I mean, goes to a contributor on the playoff run. The finals, not so much, but a contributor on the playoff run, especially during the season. And then just 3 seasons later, essentially, or 3 years later, I should say. It's actually 4 seasons later, but 3 years later, Joe, already declining so fast that he's washed. I mean, this is a guy who just basically relied a lot on his athleticism. And we could see clearly at his time in Dallas, it started to go away.
Yeah, JaVale McGee is 35 years old, guys. This is not some guy that just started even 10 years ago. This is a guy that's been around for a while. And his athleticism, his freakish, God-given, universe-given, just hellacious length, wingspan, and athleticism is what allowed him to be who he was. And the fact that he lasted as long as he did is a testament to how great, I should say great in terms of play, but how great of a mindset he put himself in to be a productive NBA player, something you can hang on every coat rack, hat rack for the rest of your life, and done everything really in that time. Won 3 championships as a contributor, well liked by his teammates. Shaq was the only one that kind of dogged him a little bit, but because he's liked by so many people kind of got on Shaq for that. So that's how you know when you've done things right, when you have people around you going, hey, man, why are you doing that to JaVale, man? JaVale's a good dude. And, I think he might, look, at the end of the day, if what's the guy in Denver's name? DJ? if that guy still has a job, I wouldn't be shocked if JaVale gets a job. But if he doesn't, thank you, JaVale, for a great career. Thank you for helping the Lakers win a championship in 2020. But I do not want to go that route at the moment. And I believe the Lakers are in a very good position to be patient. They do not need to make any kind of decision right now to fill out those 2 spots. And they're going to wait it out and see how things play out, because that's the smart move. If it happens now, next month, during training camp, after December 15th, so be it. Training deadline, I do not care. I obviously would prefer to at least get somebody here in December to help Anthony Davis, but you can't have your cake and eat it too sometimes,
This is true, my friend. Before we continue and before I bring it over to Sean, I know we wanted to go ahead and while I've got a nice crowd here at the beginning of the show, Joe, did you have any thoughts as far as the merchandise? You wanted to give people a little bit of an update because we're trying to formulate a plan. Because I want to make sure we got it at the front end of the show and not doing it on the back end when not everybody's listening or watching.
Yes, so I had gotten some specs in July, like I had explained to folks last month, and now we're in the process of getting the site up so that you guys can go to this website and order gear. Now, I've kept it simple, at least for right now. T-shirt, hat, hoodie, and then short hoodie. Short hoodie. And I like pockets where my short hoodie is too. And those are going to be the options. And it's likely going to be some good stuff that's there. Obviously, if you guys can't afford it, I don't know what your guys' budgets are. I know these days when I've been doing some research, these hats, these New Era hats are $50. I'm gonna tell you right now, the hats are not gonna be $50. That's a joke. As much as I like quality, New Era hats are not worth $50. I mean, it takes a lot for me to drop $50 on a hat. I like the flex fits. I like kind of, unless it's a game worn type hat, like a LA Dodger hat, like an official Dodger hat that they would wear in the game. That's kind of different, but you don't have that in basketball, football, or hockey. So
you don't have to sell your body, Endorphin. We don't want anybody. We don't endorse selling.
Again, we're setting up the site for you to make the decision, right? You're going to make the decision here. Now, I like quality, and what I mean by quality is this shirt looks brand new, right? It looks like this hasn't been touched. This has been washed 50 times at least in the last year, okay? So, and I have 4 or 5 pairs, so it makes it easier too. But they don't fade. They've been created to do that. The material that's there has been created to not turn into shambles. But let's say we set everything up, and again, the stuff's not made of gold. I'm just saying there's got to be a little bit of quality in this so that when you wear it,
think like it, Joe.
When you wear it, it looks representative of who we are and you.
I was going to say Lord of the Rings, like maybe it's made of mithril, ancient mithril.
Are you finished?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. So, yeah, but we'll let you.
You almost got through that deadpan. Almost got through it.
I almost did. But everyone thought it was serious. Anyways, we will, if you having a problem, again, this is not going to be $400 for a shirt. We're not doing that. It's not even going to be $100. I'm just saying hoodies usually cost $70. Hats cost $50, but I'm selling a hat that's probably going to be closer to $20, $25, right? That's kind of the numbers we talked about today. This shirt might be about $30 to $50, depending on which one I get. There's one I saw that I have to get. So, you guys are going to have the choice to do that. Hoodie and then a t-shirt. T-shirts are usually a little easier. Usually run anywhere between $25 and $30. So that's the plan. We will have something up very, very soon. And we may have the website up in the near future as well to be an area where you can go and see some things too. But these days, a website isn't really the place people usually go. It's usually going to be some kind of social media. So as we ascend in this thing, I'm sure we'll be promoting that there in the near future.
There you go. Indeed. Again, an update, and we will start getting you updates on when you can start pre-ordering. When it comes down to the items, you said a hat, a hoodie.
T-shirt, short sleeve hoodie like this, and then an actual hoodie.
Okay,
Now, there might be some patches and things like that coming in the future. I'll let my apparel lady dictate that. If she thinks that we can put a bunch of stuff on there to show what we might be able to get or easy to make or get in general, then I'll add some things on there as well.
I know that Nick also reached out to you in regards to possible shorts. Laker Nick did. So,
shorts would be good, especially when it comes to the logo we have. It's much easier to put a logo on the left leg that says LBF or
LFB.
I'm sorry, LFB, and then at that point, it's a simple design. Shorts are a little difficult though to sell than even a T-shirt in a lot of ways.
They want a Joe bobblehead.
If I ever do a bobblehead, I am never ever going to do anything that they do in these baseball ones where the faces look nothing like them. Yeah, it's just like this is Walker Buehler. This is Walker Buehler.
Hi, Joe.
I'm like, this does not look like Walker Buehler. You knew that some poor kid in China made this thing for hours and hours and hours. You could tell, right? No. If I make a bobblehead, it's going to be my face, which means quality.
And that's another thing. Yes. Actually, how about rant incoming with Joe like in full anger? With maybe that's something that could be on a shirt right there too.
I have no comment.
Or what it says, what Sean, show me a picture of your wife.
Lifted.
All right, we've completely derailed now. Thanks a lot, Joe.
I'm glad you guys are laughing really, really hard.
We're just trying to remember all the good ones to like package on a T-shirt because that's how the WWE does it. They just somebody has a catchphrase. Let's go put that on a T-shirt right there for you.
Well, the more of an audience we get, the more we can start really playing around with some things, right?
This is true. That's all up to you out there. So please go and help us out. We're got the stuff on the way. We told you around training camp, probably that's our goal is to go ahead, introduce in full then. But I know that a lot of people want to get prepared, want to know pricing, finally on that, how it's taken care of, the actual list of things that you can get of right away. And then your suggestions as well in comments. If you're really adamant on something, please let us know in the comments, social media, or LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break, getting back on track with JaVale McGee, now being off the Dallas Mavericks and now a free agent. Again, he's one of the many names that are being tossed around. I know Z and I are kind of going back and forth on Bismack Biyom. No, not Biyombo. Biyom, no, every time he shoots a free throw. I mentioned in the comments that I think that Zangerstein and myself blindfolded could probably shoot better as far as from the free throw line than Bismack Biyombo at this point. But here today to talk about JaVale McGee and the options that are still available out there. Good man indeed. He's the madman from Toronto. He did get out of Toronto traffic to laugh at my you can't get that out of his head. The Joe T-shirt joke. It is the good man indeed. It is the magic man, Sean Grice. Sean, great to have you here, my friend. It works, my friend. It works. A rant T-shirt, and I want to see a picture of your wife T-shirt. It's money. It's absolutely money. But Sean,
Joe's body kicking Lucky's ass. I would buy that T-shirt. Lakers Fast Break. Joe just kicking Lucky the Leprechaun right in the ass.
There you go. That would be great. That would be awesome. I think there might be some copyright issues with that one on the Lucky. Might be.
Well, we'll figure out a monstrous twin that
Lucky
Joe
can eat my grapes.
There you go. Another T-shirt right there for you. So, Magic Man, your thoughts on this? Again, I put it out there as I'm going to admit it. It was clickbaity, the title of it, and obviously it got someone already started. Oh, of course they're not looking at him. Of course not. Well, as we've seen over the years in Lakerland, they do like rehashing players that are beyond their career, players that are on beyond washed, and they like bringing them back to just give them a test run. Remember, even one of my favorite players from back in the day, Jawan Oldham. I absolutely loved him when he was on the Chicago Bulls. I saw him to one time block a shot, and his hand was stretched out at the very top of the rim to block the shot. No kidding. And he had such athletic gifts, and the fact that he was 7'1", I think
I
at
think 7-1, yeah.
7'1", 7'2" in that area, and could do that was just amazing. Now he didn't ever get really that as well done on the offensive side, and that was his undoing. But once his knees went, his career went south, and then he latched on with the Lakers, and that was just sad to watch him where he once was. And then you've seen them over the course of the years bring on more guys past their prime onto the team, including Tristan Thompson this past year, who was really past his prime, although I'm not really sure he had one. But your thoughts on this, my friend, when it comes to JaVale McGee? I mean, great memories. Obviously, he is a multi-time championship player. At one time, he was really he could not get around him in the playoffs. People were like, trying to single him out. I remember one possession when he was with Golden State, tried to single him out. They tried to go ahead and isolate him, and he was out in the island right near the 3-point line against a guard, and he was right all over his face. Great footwork, and that the guy, the point guard, had to go ahead and just like chuck up a terrible shot. He is no longer that athletic. He is no longer that fast, no longer that quick. And even what he provided the Lakers in 2019, 2020 is no more. Your thoughts on bringing back JaVale McGee? Are you thinking as I am that it's now great memories with JaVale, but no more for him as well?
Fortune, fame, mirror vein, the memory remains. I think that's
another T-shirt. T-shirt.
Anyway, yeah, I think he's a great memory for the Lakers, Gerald. But yeah, I'm very almost no athleticism left. I mean, yeah, obviously you have some if you're in the NBA, but not the juice he had at all. Not even 3 years ago, Gerald. I don't think so.
I think we already have a younger version already in Jackson
Hayes. Yeah. I mean, all due respect to JaVale, Jackson Hayes is younger than yourself. You guys basically do the same things. So it's almost redundant to bring him on the roster, even as an emergency backup, like break in case of glass.
And that's my point with Usman Garuba. Again, you're duplicating the same thing that you are with Jared Vanderbilt, which again, to me, is something that, do you really need to do that on the roster? I know you're very high on him. I know you think he's got a very good future. I'm not trying to dissuade you or disparage you in any way, shape, or form, my friend, on your thoughts on that. I just think, though, at this stage of his career, you're, again, with Usman Garuba and JaVale McGee, even if he wasn't washed, you're duplicating the same thing on the roster with the same player.
Oh, that's a fair point, Gerald. That's a fair point. I can't argue against that whatsoever. Signing him would be exactly what you said. It'd be a kind of a redundancy, a replication of what Jared Vanderbilt can do. Only Jared can do it a little bit better and more consistently, obviously.
And is taller.
And is taller. It is 2 inches taller, right? I agree. I can't argue from that perspective. So the Lakers need to solve this issue, though, sooner rather than later. But the point is, Gerald, is that as we talked about earlier in the summer, the Lakers have options now. It's not as if Christian Wood is the holding the rose, right? Like the Bachelor, like everybody's waiting for him. No, there are options now. Garuba's out there. McGee's out there. Not saying those are like realistic or even tenable options, but they're out there. So he's not the only guy on the block now looking for work. So, and I think even more options are going to present themselves, Gerald. I think I've heard OKC is potentially going to waive another one of their guards.
Or another one of their big players.
Yeah, Poku, for example. His name has been.
Ooh, Poku. I
Yeah.
really like Poku.
Yeah. So they're going to release somebody. I've also heard there's a stockpile in Utah and San Antonio, Gerald, and there's word that one of those two teams might have to waive one of their guys. So there are a lot of
New Orleans.
options.
Could one of
New
their
Orleans,
could Hernan Gomez be on the trading block or cutting block?
right, right. And now all of a sudden we understand why Rob has waited out this long, because all these options are now presentable and realistic.
I did a draft profile feature on him way back when, Zangerstein. I'm still really high on the kid as far as Pokusevski is concerned. So if he became available, it would be in the Lakers' best interest to get someone as versatile as him. He just has to put it all together and has to remain injury free. We're starting to see the same thing with a similar player, Joe, in Zach Collins in San Antonio, where he was often injured. He had so much promise, never got to live up to it because of his injuries in Portland, was finally sent packing to San Antonio. Looked like his career was going to be in that fringe player, but he turned his career around last season at San Antonio. Now he looks to be a key piece of their building block going forward. I'm hoping that could be the same thing for Pokusevski if he comes to Lakers. But when it comes down to it, Joe, the Lakers, I think we questioned them before. You and I and Sean, we questioned Rob Pelinka's thinking, last season. Why isn't he making a move? Laker Tom was furious for months at Rob Pelinka. Why didn't he make a move before training camp? Why didn't he make a move? He's going to make a move. How many times, Sean, and Joe, do we hear this? He's going to make a move before the start of the season. He's going to make a move before Christmas. He's going to make a move, and it never happened. And patience paid off in a great trade deadline for him. Could he be doing the same thing again? Could it be in his best interest to be waiting this whole thing out for a 14th slot, Joe?
We weren't patient in trading Westbrook at the deadline. We ran to the deadline. The teams ran to the deadline. Anyone who says, God, I wish Rob had traded Westbrook in January, it wasn't possible. The other team has to agree too. The other team is leveraging. And then when you lose your leverage, then you do something or you don't. So the issue with Rob Pelinka, at least for me, wasn't so much the mistake of the Russell Westbrook trade. That had happened. We needed to kind of get over it a little bit. Can't keep dwelling on it. The problem was his personality. Was his personality costing the Lakers in the end? Turns out it wasn't. And this is where we're at now. As soon as we got to a point where he could unload the problem, he was able to manifest a phenomenal return in a short amount of time, and the Lakers end up going. I mean, sometimes it hits me, and it probably shouldn't, because we're supposed to be about championships, because we do have Anthony Davis and LeBron James, but I don't think we really understand what an amazing accomplishment the 2023 team was. The fact that they were a mess from almost every angle you could be, without inner turmoil, like, bickering in the back, and like that wasn't going on. Even with Russell Westbrook being what he was, there wasn't any kind of like, the whole locker room is destroyed because James Harden doesn't like so-and-so, like none of that stuff, right? It was more maybe passive aggressive, if anything, but ultimately there was still, there was a team playing basketball without the locker room being a problem, right? The fact that they made it to the Western Conference Finals after all this is pretty remarkable. And that's why the confidence in what they're doing now is even higher, because we have already seen through Summer League, through international play, that a couple of our role players, immense, important role players, have already shown massive improvement when we didn't really know if they would. So how is that going to play into the season? If LeBron has lost, let's say, a quarter of a step from last year, but Austin Reeves, Max Christie go a half a foot ahead, that's going to cover that little quarter. And then you also factor in the fact that Anthony Davis looks to be in the best shape I've ever seen him in physically. Does he play 68, 72 games this year? If he does, that means he's on his way to an MVP candidacy and possibly an MVP on defense. Now, you haven't even gotten into the Gabe Vincents, the Vanderbilts. You haven't gotten to who might be the center on this team or two. The Lakers are in a very good position, absolute perfect position right now to dictate what they want to do next. The only thing they need to pray to the gods is, God, please don't let LeBron and AD get a major injury. If they have an ailment and they got to sit a couple weeks, remember I told you about the schedule, guys, there's going to be a 6-week window in the heart of this schedule where the Lakers do not leave the Pacific Standard Time zone. Take advantage of it. That's where Darvin Ham comes in. And all your analytical people behind the scenes. Make it work. We're here to support.
Indeed. Another shirt. Hey, there you go. Tagline for another shirt. There you go. Sean, let me bring you back into this. And once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. We're talking a possible return to the Los Angeles Lakers for JaVale McGee. And it was great to see at the Drake concert last night, Drake leading in LeBron and Bronny. So great to see Bronny up and about. And I know that the crowd was really cheering for him. And it was great to see him and his father last night. Any fathers, even if you're the worst LeBron hater in the world, and boy, do I know, and I've seen some LeBron haters in the past few weeks, you've got to be happy that a father and son can go ahead and just be a part of that after what happened to Bronny. I know you're getting all misty-eyed on me here, Joe, but I do want to say, Sean, Taylor Swift easily can sell out a stadium. I just dropped off my wife and child last week to a K-pop concert here that sold out Allegiant Stadium with Blackpink. How come Drake can't sell out a stadium? He's only can do the crypto? My gosh. It's now all about stadiums. It's no longer about, actually, in case of Harry Styles, he sells out arenas like 7 or 8 times in a row. So I ask you, my friend, when it comes to, though, JaVale McGee, there's still people in this chat that want JaVale McGee, that are thinking this is 2020 JaVale McGee, or that 2020 JaVale McGee can be revived. You and I have watched his travels since then with Cleveland, with Phoenix, and with Dallas since his journey away from Los Angeles. I have seen a slow and steady. There's been some bright moments for him, but I have seen, for the most part, a slow and steady decline.
I agree, Gerald, which is why it was very curious and downright, it's a word I'm looking for, foolish for Dallas to sign him to that amount of money. And for that term, 3 years is a long time.
Well, that was his last, just before he signed that. Of course, he played well enough his last gasp as a player to play at a competent level in the NBA. And wouldn't you know, sure enough, it came right before he went into free agency.
Exactly.
Yep, of course.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, it was a perfect storm for
absolutely.
For him and Mark Cuban.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Who's Shaq a fool now?
Big time, yep. Gerald. And my goodness, like the roster construction on that team, at times it looks like it's cohesive and it's moving towards a certain direction, Gerald. And then other times you wonder what the hell they're doing in Central Texas. 4 or 5 centers on a roster when you have Luka Doncic. I don't know what's going on, but as you said, we've seen a steady decline from JaVale. He can still play a role in the NBA. I just don't want to see it on the Lakers. I think he'd be great for either a young team who needs a vet and to learn how to be a professional with young people,
Do you
or
think he can hang on until expansion? Because that's what I'd say. Joe, what do you think about
2
3
years?
seasons? Is it
Maybe
2
three,
years?
probably three.
Three?
I'm
Probably
gonna have to
three.
sort of disagree with you there.
I'm just asking if he can hang on until
No.
that point. I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
If it's 3 seasons, definitely not. 2 seasons.
3.
If it's 3 seasons before new teams come into the league.
You really think a new team's coming in 3 years?
I think so.
Really?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's going to be 5 or 6.
The new
I think
TV
so.
contract is up 28, 29. I would expect that they'd want a team, an expansion team, either in or out before
Because
that.
the comments made by comments made were simply said, we just got to work on a new TV deal, and then we're going to focus on expansion. Did they not come to terms on the new TV deal?
They did.
They did.
They
So
did,
there you
Gerald.
go.
They did.
Plus, it's like easy money. You want to come into this league, you got to go ahead and pay Adam Silver. There you go.
And you know what? And it's true, Gerald. There's kind of an oversimplification that people have that, oh well, if they brought in another team to this league, everybody would have to share. Everybody has to share anyway. And there's so much money flowing around that adding another team benefits everybody, benefits the ecosystem.
I just think right now, well, one of these days we're going to have a conversation. Does the league have enough talent to do that? I know that we could give a broad answer here, yes or no. Does the league have enough talent to support 2 more teams? Joe's saying no. So a lot of people are saying yes. Again, I'd have to look in more detail, and because I'm really on the fence either which way.
It might not matter.
Yeah, well, that
Because
of course it's all about money. So
the game is fixed because if you're looking at quality of the product, and the game isn't geared towards general audience anymore. The teams don't need butts in the seats anymore. The TV contracts have solidified that, and the gambling has tipped it over to another level. This is the way of the world now. They've catered to the lowest common denominator. And then the more podcasts there are like this, the more dumbasses like us are going to continue to say things we don't like, but we're still going to watch.
speak for yourself.
Yeah, I was going to say, speak for yourself.
Smartass.
I was speaking specifically you two, not me. I'm just saying.
No. I think you were speaking about you, of course. I am a smartass. Thank you very much. Once again, it's the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate everybody joining us.
We
here.
need a rated R version of this show, by the way. I know playback is it, but
Patreon.
we need.
There you go.
But that's
Patreon.
different. That's the game. I'm talking commentary.
I don't
They
know,
could go
Joe.
to playback. Playback.tv gets rated.
I gotta be
NC-17.
honest, Joe. You've gone a little Puss in Boots on playback. I just gotta say.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Puss in
There you
Boots is
go.
badass. What are you talking about?
Challenge has been thrown down there. Yes. Vegas and Paradise, Nevada. That's right. Paradise, Nevada. Absolutely. That's the actual strip. That's where the actual strip is on Paradise. It's not in Las Vegas. But once again, it is the Las Vegas, of course. And also as well, Seattle will be most likely the next teams coming down the pike. But getting back to...
And we need, Gerald, we need the greatest mascot in sports history back. We need Squatch back. The NBA needs Squatch.
Oh, okay. Yes. I guess we did. All right. That's another t-shirt line right there. Sean saying we need Squatch back, and holding up a mini Squatch doll right there. There you go. Joe, though, JaVale McGee is going to be made available again. If people are still talking about in the chat, most are saying no. Some are still saying yes. And Laker fans out there, some are saying yes. Most are saying no. There is that thought, though. We do try to bring back to see if there's still some tread on the tires for some of these guys at the end of their careers. I certainly hope not. I certainly hope they don't waste a spot on JaVale McGee at this point.
JaVale McGee, it was a contributor on the 2020 team, but he actually didn't play that much in the Denver series and the finals, hardly at all. He played as a glue guy, as a role player, but it was very minimal, but it was good enough it was very AC Green-ish, maybe a little bit lower than AC. I think AC had a little bit more value on the 2000 team, but he had that. You can't go wrong with someone who's 7'1" and can jump out the building. It's a threat, right? It's a threat. Going back to how I was talking about D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell is still somebody you have to pay attention to, even though there's been issues in certain games with him. So you have to pay attention to a guy who's 7'1" who can reach to almost 10 feet, right? And then you had Anthony Davis. It was a formidable lineup that you had to deal with the first 6 minutes of the game. Then you shift AD to center, you bring in Dwight Howard, and you continue that dominance, I should say, until otherwise. As far as I wanted to get this done real quick. Drake doesn't sell out stadiums because he doesn't have to. Stadiums typically are harder to manage. There's more money spent on crew and speakers and stuff. And Taylor Swift and most groups that are pop-ish are going to have a bigger fan base.
But Drake has sold out stadiums before.
He has, but I've heard he prefers, and most artists prefer not to be in a big area like that. Because
Harry Styles chose arenas, but he chose like doing arenas like the Forum he did for like 12, 13, 14 days straight, actually out of a 2-week period, 3-week period. So yeah, the extended stay type deal. I get you what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to do a stadium. He could sell it out, but I think he prefers it. He's getting paid the same amount of money to do a 18,000 crowd versus I don't know how many Taylor Swift had, but they're gonna have to put a banner at SoFi now because she killed it when that week she was there.
Oh, looks like we have a troll, Joe. Troll. We haven't had a troll in a while. Yep. Looks like we. Oh, yes. And this coming from the guy who calls himself what? Yeah. Well, you can read that in there. I don't want to read it for our audience trying to keep PG on that. So.
The prom monster.
Yeah. Well, no, it's porno monster. But
I mean, a couple things here. One, that's a lame ass name, brother. So
yeah, absolutely.
And two. Oh my God, I can't believe I do this, but I gotta go on a Drake rant here.
Oh, before we go on the Drake rant, just say Lakers propaganda hour. Really? Seriously?
This is a Lakers show, you dumb bag of hammers.
I think he's just. I think you're giving him attention. I think it's best to silent and deadly it.
Okay. Well, we're just doing it for you. We're setting you up for the kill, but okay. All right.
Yeah, I prefer to not talk and kill.
You told me that you look forward to seeing
me. You do that, not me.
No, but you look forward to seeing those.
You, me, and you, and me.
All right. Sean.
Look, sometimes you're the bug, and sometimes you're the windshield. If you're gonna come in here, you ain't the windshield. Just remember that, okay?
So you're getting back to Drake.
And it's not just any windshield. It's the windshield on a OG H1.
Ooh.
We don't have feelings. Well, Gerald has a little bit, but Sean and I don't have feelings, folks.
Not on here, we don't.
You could sit there and you can troll, call us all the names you want, and we'll like it. And then forget about it. In 2 seconds.
5 seconds after.
It doesn't do anything. So good luck.
Good luck, indeed. Godspeed to you. Sean, your thoughts, though, on Drake before we get back to JaVale McGee and close that this part of the conversation out. I know I wanted to give you guys a chance to go ahead and speak on Drake. It's a very talented individual, although the mumble rap is not for
He's a better actor, in my opinion. He's a better comedic actor than a singer, believe it or not.
Anyway, yeah. What he does is
At least to
mid.
me.
What he does is mid. He's a mid rapper, mid performer. But you're right, Gerald. Very talented for somebody who's got about 25 ghostwriters. Uh, um, I agree. I think he's more actor than artist. Personally speaking, I think Gerald. Sometimes some people lose mass appeal, and I think when he first started, he everybody enjoyed him. But he's basically turned into, and it's fine. A Keith Sweat or an LL Cool J of his time. He's more for the ladies than he is for the gents, and I think that's helped contribute to why he's mid.
He's mid. Okay.
He's mid.
Mid. Absolutely. So, you guys, I tell you, mid indeed. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for joining us right here in what has been called the Lakers Propaganda Hour. Although, if it was the Lakers Propaganda, my gosh, for what way we go ahead and rip on the Lakers over the course of a 365-day period, you might have it a little bit twisted. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for joining us. We are talking JaVale McGee. So again, Joe, if JaVale is a no, if Bismack Beyond no, aka Bismack Biyombo, sorry Z, is a no. If it looks like Christian Wood is going to be a no, then what's the plan for Rob Pelinka on filling up a 14th spot? Not a 15th spot, because it seems like they're going to leave that spot open, but what's the plan for 14th spot?
The plan is to wait it out and see which quality center would come play for the Lakers or could be attainable. It's not going to be rocket science on this one. They're playing it as well as you can play it right now. They're not desperate right now to fill that spot right this minute. They're not. They can wait it out and get the exact guy that they want, or settle for a guy that they feel that can play that position and spell AD enough during the year. There's a lot of guys that seem to be getting released that have some talent. And if the Lakers have been a team that's been developing guys or enhancing people's skill sets on the team because they have LeBron and AD, then I have a very, very strong feeling they know who they're going to get, but they're also waiting on the guy that they want maybe. And maybe they don't know who they want. Maybe it just has to happen first. Then they'll get him.
Maybe they have a list on a short list of who may become available, Joe, and that's who they're targeting.
Yeah, I believe that's what it is, and it's a good way to approach it. They gotta get Bismack Biyombo. I'd say he could be signed if you get the right starting center, right? Because he could be the backup. Use him in spurts, use him in garbage time, use him in certain spots during an 82-game season. The problem is he can't shoot a free throw to save his life. So make sure he doesn't get the ball down anywhere that's not under the rim that he can dunk it.
And you don't know how athletic he still is, being on the other side of 30.
And if he's not athletic, there's a reason why they got Jackson Hayes. They needed athleticism. The problem with Jackson Hayes, and this could solve a lot of our problems if he could, I guess, enhance his skill set on this team, is he is actually good at the weak side defense, which could play a factor with this team. If AD commits to someone and Jackson is a guy that flourishes either playing one-on-one on the perimeter, which he's shown some lateral ability to stay in front of his guy, not guards that have speed, but maybe somebody that's not as fast. He's done that well. And of course, again, weak side help. That could be something that will definitely work, but it's only going to work for about a quarter a game. He's not capable of being a 30, or I should say 20 to 25 a minute a game player. He's going to be more a quarter, maybe 15 minutes. Yeah. That's his game. So you need to find the other guy that can cover the other 12 and 15 minutes. And then if you have somebody like, again, Biyombo, who is just an added insurance, cool. That guy will be that guy if one of them gets injured and he needs to play and cover them. That's it. That's where we're at.
So I ask you this, guys, and this is a question leads me back to a couple weekends ago. Sean and also Joe, I don't know if you heard that actually on the air with Lakerholic Spotlight, Laker Tom kind of backed me into a bet. I don't know if you heard that, but yeah, he bet me that he swears to God by opening day, Anthony Davis will not be playing the 5 come the start of the season. And I was like, well, I don't think I think he will be the 5. I just think you don't have much of a choice, seeing how LeBron is like 38, pushing 39. Do you really want him chasing wings out there? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, okay, he kind of pushed me into that one. So your thoughts on this, my friend? AD, you think he's going to be starting the 5, or you think he's going to be at the 4, which necessitates the Lakers thinking on who they might pick up for that 14 spot, if it is a JaVale McGee or something like that with a big guy.
That's interesting, Gerald. You know, if my friend worded that bet the way you said, that's very clever. Because
I didn't want to bet him, but I said, all right, I'll bet you dinner. There you go.
That's very clever. Because, you know, I think at the beginning of the season, Tom may be right that, you know, he is the 4.
I don't think it wasn't a decent proposal, Kurt, but, you know, you can check out the tape from a couple weekends ago. And you could right there.
That was a horrible movie, by the way. It just, like, yeah,
that was a proposal?
Yeah.
I didn't like
it. Really?
Yeah, I didn't like it. Anyway, but, yeah, I think Tom may be correct. I think, you know,
it hasn't aged well. Let's just say that.
Yeah, it hasn't. That's a better phrase. That's a better phrase. Yeah, I think Tom may be correct, Gerald, that ultimately AD's a 4, Jackson Hayes is a 5 when the tip goes up. But I you know, we all know AD's going to be the 5. It's just I'm not sure why he hasn't had his come to Jesus moment yet about this, Gerald. Considering that last year, 99% of your minutes were played at the 5, man. Come on, like you gotta just go with the baptism here, okay? Just put your head in the water and just accept your fate that you're a 5. You got to do it. It's a come to Jesus moment for AD this year, Gerald.
It is. And we're going to see, like Joe says, that's the only thing left in his career. We were talking about it last night in the comparisons to Dwight Howard, you know, where his career stacks up to where Anthony Davis. We feel that, Joe, I agree with Joe in the fact that there's that missing piece in his career, Joe, where AD has had all the talent and has every opportunity to go ahead and play to that level, to get to that level, like you were talking about, where he needs to be in the conversation, the top 10 players in the world, in the NBA, and not just for a 2-week stretch, not just for a week stretch here during January, not just during a stretch where he comes back off an injury, not just during a stretch during the playoffs. He needs to be throughout a whole season and be an MVP candidate. That's the last missing step as far as this equation for Anthony Davis. And if he does that, it makes it so much easier for the Lakers to go forward. If Austin Reeves plays like he can and like he's been doing for Team USA, it makes it so much better and so much easier for LeBron to do what he needs to do and do less of it because the team won't need as much. But when it comes to filling up that 14th slot, it's something I think the Lakers are meticulously thinking about, and I think they're making the right idea not to go ahead and rush into it. They might have already made an offer to Christian Wood, but if he doesn't take it, it just seems like the Lakers are not bothered by him not taking that deal.
AD is capable of winning an MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year in the same season. He does that, then everything he's done is solidified to the top.
It's like a missing piece, don't you think?
It is because he's too talented not to be that guy. He's too talented. His career has been very good. He will go to the Hall of Fame. He'll be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's won at every level: FIBA, Olympics, college, NBA. He's a winner. He's not a locker room cancer, as big as a star as he is. He's a good dude. He's eloquent. He's smart. He
hasn't
gets
been
it.
bad with the press.
Nothing. He is brilliant. But he's missing those things. He wins an MVP. He wins a Defensive Player of the Year, or both. You are now sitting exactly where you were supposed to sit. And if he does that this year, you're winning a championship, barring any injury in the playoffs. It's that simple. And there is no other way, guys. There is no other way. If AD plays 70 to 75 games this year, he will be a top 3 MVP candidate and likely win the Defensive Player of the Year. That's what we need. He could win the MVP. He couldn't. It depends on who he's going against, right? But that's, if I'm his agent, if I'm the Lakers, if I'm LeBron, I'm sitting with AD and going, screw it. Go after it. Go get an MVP. Go get a Defensive Player of the Year. Get both. Because if you do, that means LeBron is not playing as much. He's not exerting himself as much. Then, when you get in the playoffs, LeBron can get loose. And it's a lot better when you can get loose playing 29 minutes a game versus 36 minutes a game, which is what he played last year. LeBron cannot play 3 quarters every game throughout the year again. Cannot. He's got to play 2.5. He's got to get that extra 6 minutes. Imagine 6 minutes times, I don't know, let's say he plays 65 games. It's immense for a guy that's going to go into his 21st NBA regular season. He's really played 25 years if you factor in his playoff games. That's just astronomically crazy. This is the mindset you have to have. AD, and I'm going to say this for the record. If you play your butt off and your body just collapses, it is what it is. I would rather you give 100% out and go, you know what? You did your best. You tried. It didn't work out. I'll have a lot of respect for you. Because if you scale back, it's probably still not going to work. So I'd rather you go all out and hope for the best that you'll be able to make it through so that we can win this thing. And with the depth that they have, with the youth that they have a very good shot of doing that. There's a lot of youth on this team in high skill positions.
I agree.
We're in good shape, guys. I feel very, very confident that the Lakers are going to play very well this year, barring a torn something, a torn ligament in the knee, foot, something like that. That's it. That's the only thing that's going to take us out from the 2 guys, right? If something busts on the knee for LeBron and he's out for the year, yeah, we're toast. Same thing with AD, we're toast. But that's like saying if Patrick Mahomes gets injured, we're screwed, right? Or Kansas City's screwed. That's the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. Hell, even when he was injured, he still beat everyone's ass. I mean, just that's what it is.
That's what it is indeed. Even P Master agrees with you on that the Lakers will be good this year. Way to go, P Master. But Sean, I wanted to go ahead and ask you this finally to close out this conversation. Do you think it's been the smart play by the Lakers to go ahead and go about the way they did? Because they could have done the Laker Tom way and just did the sign and trade with Vanderbilt going to Dallas, bringing in Christian Wood at a higher rate. There could have been those options that are available to them. They could have gone after the first available center that they saw. Could have, all those big guys that are out there that maybe don't have the talent or maybe past their prime that we've seen signed. Even Moses Brown was just recently signed by, I think, a partial guarantee with Portland, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I mean, even a guy like that that's bounced around from the league that people were saying and mentioning, he just got signed. So the Lakers, they've literally run dry on quality big man now. If you do not get Christian Wood, there's literally nothing left unless some things open up during training camp. Do you think this was the smartest way to go for the Los Angeles Lakers?
I think so, Gerald. I really do. what's that old saying our grandparents taught us? Only fools rush in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it would have been a rush to just sign you know who,
Yes.
considering the fact that he's just waiting for more money at this point.
Good luck.
That's yeah, exactly. We talked about that one, but yeah, you know what, Gerald? I think the more we see the landscape changing, the more options that I think there will be available. The further we go down the line here, because we still have a huge basketball tournament coming up. Um, you know, wish everybody the best and all health. But Gerald, people break legs, people tear their knees. It happens. Um, so I think everybody's pressing the pause button from now until probably anywhere from, like you said, August 31st, when that uh, deadline looms, to probably the end of the tournament, which would be around 4 to 6 weeks outside of training camp, which is still a big gap to evaluate your roster. So I think hats off to Rob. Very patient, but he's being also very truculent about the way he views those last two roster spots.
Okay.
Well, whatever truculent means, if it's good, I'm there.
Oh, once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Thanks so much for joining us here at the Lakers Fast Break. You get a chance and you've not done so already, please go ahead and subscribe today to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the Lakers Fast Break. Tomorrow we've got Mike Anguilano. Please go ahead and join us as we talk Detroit Pistons for their team report. And then later on this week, we've got a great interview lined up with an awesome person in our chat who's here constantly, Empire Jeff TV. Please go ahead and subscribe to his channel as well. But before we head on out, guys, let me ask you this. Let me bring it back to Sean real quick on this. When it comes to the James Harden saga, I guess the Laya comment that was said by James Harden, in his camp in China, that was blurted out all over the internet in regards to Daryl Morey. He said and indicated that I only meant he was lying about saying that he was going to be traded if he signed and opted in into the final year of his contract. I didn't mean or insinuate anything else by that comment. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you. But let me ask you this, Sean.
Isn't there a bridge in Brooklyn?
Yeah, that's the idea. But I want to ask you this, Sean. When it comes to what we're seeing with James Harden, he was fined today by the league $100,000, which, as you know, he probably spends that more than that at the gentlemen's clubs. Your thoughts, though? This is just getting a little bit further and further. Now it seems like it's going to get uglier and uglier. I can't wait. I almost can't. I'm almost as excited for the Philadelphia 76ers camp as I am the Lakers camp, because it's just all the drama that's going to play out.
Gerald, if he tries to pull any of the other crap he's tried, whether it was in Houston, Brooklyn, it's not going to fly in Philly. That is not going to fly. He does not have the requisite cachet. He does not have any friends in the Philadelphia media, and the fans are unruly. I mean, merciless. The most probably the.
Okay. Sean, you're still there? Magic Man? And I left you right on your monologue, my friend.
Yeah, you did. But that's okay. Thanks a lot, Canadian internet. Anyway.
Yes, absolutely.
Anyway, Gerald, this is a self-infliction that James Harden has done to himself. Do you remember when he was in Houston, Gerald, and he rejected a 2-year, $103 million extension? Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
Now, the reason why that was significant, Gerald, is because had he signed that extension, he would have been the first $50 million a year NBA player. But he decided he knew better. And do you know who became the first $50 million player?
Who would that be, Sean?
Steph Curry.
Well, there you go. Absolutely.
So then he gets traded. He gets what he wants, Gerald. He ends up getting traded to Brooklyn. Or so he says. That's what he wanted. He rejects a 5-year, $227 million max extension with the Nets. Now that's 2 max contracts he's turned down from 2 different franchises. Then he decides that because of circumstances beyond all of our controls, and because he has a teammate that's truculent about certain medical adherences.
There you go. You're very carefully, stepping around the tulips on that one.
Yeah,
nice.
adherences, well, right? He decides, well, I'm gonna throw a hissy fit and just stomp my feet as loud as I can and get out of here too. Okay, so he gets his wish again. He then turns down a 3rd max contract from the Philadelphia 76ers. This is the 3rd separate team that's offered him a max contract, and the 3rd time he's turned them down. So he exercises his opt-in, Gerald. And the only reason he exercised that opt-in, Gerald, is because all the money had dried out by the time this decision needed to be made. And he was left standing, wondering what happened. Well, I'll tell you what happened, James. You became a depreciative asset in about 1.5 years. You're not the guy you once were. And when you finally found out why, you got bitter and angry at everybody and everything except yourself. This is self-inflicted. And you are about to enter a world I don't think you can possibly imagine. Try playing these games in Philly. You'll find out. FOFA.
All right, Joe, let me ask you this, my friend. When it comes to James Harden, the saga is continuing. $100,000. Again, that's not really that whole lot to him, especially what he's made in his career. Your thoughts on this? This is going to get more ugly and get uglier and get uglier until the point where there's got to be a breaking point. But then again, we saw this drama laid out a couple of years ago with Ben Simmons, and Daryl Morey played it close to the vest, and ultimately he came out what he thought would be a winner because he got James Harden in that trade, plus a lot of other stuff as well. And it's it's biting him in the back again. So your thoughts on how this plays out with Daryl Morey this time around?
It's interesting how the NBA PA, Michelle Roberts, is all of a sudden now sitting on her high horse going, hey, you can't fine him $100,000 for an opinion. How is this any different than criticizing the refs? Why don't you make a grievance on that one, Michelle? You're in this position because of you, because you just wanted to make the money, right? So if it's about the money, fine. Why didn't your client take the money not once, not twice, but 3 times? Whose fault is it? It's his fault. Going around calling people liars, right? That's a detriment to the league when you have professional players calling their professional management. That's why they fine you when you criticize the refs, because you're putting a bad look on the league. And you signed that deal that says that they can fine your ass for doing that. I didn't sign it. Gerald didn't sign it. Sean didn't sign it. Empire Jeff TV didn't sign it. Porno, whatever his name is, didn't sign it. So whose fault is it? So we're going to go back to the analogy of the month. You all want your cake and you want to eat it too. Which one is it? Make a decision. Remember in training day, make a decision. Make a decision. No, you're not going to make a decision. because you want your decision made on your time, your subject. This is and we have catered to these jackholes too long, and no one is doing anything about it. We keep saying, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's not that big of a deal. The problem is there's an old term that I used to hear when I was a kid. This is how it starts. This is how it starts. You don't nip it in the butt, just like cancer. It becomes malignant, then it infects the entire body and infects everything. And then you can't do jack squat about it. You already gave these guys enough entitlement. It's a players' league because there is no choice but for it to be a players' league. But you gave them even more rope. It's time to stop. It's time to put your foot down, Adam. Time to maybe harness a little bit of what David Stern had. God help me for saying that. But at least bring in some kind of nut sack. Okay? Enough already. The inmates running the asylum is never a good idea. Most of the stuff that happened before, people demanding trades, we could say that was somewhat part of the game. Okay? You've held this guy up. KG was stuck in Siberia for how many years? 12 years. We get it, right? AD's in New Orleans. That's Siberia of the South, right? We get it. But this freaking guy has gone from Houston, actually, technically from Oklahoma City, Houston, Brooklyn, Philly. Now he wants to go to the Clippers and play with a bunch of douchebags. I mean, he'd be perfect there, right? But at what point are you going to say that there is merit in these contracts? Because at least if you're demanding a trade, you're getting compensation back for something. You're not going to get anything of relevance for trading James Harden. There is no possibility for that based off the current collective bargaining agreement. And guys like Dame Lillard, that's one I understand. He has been loyal to Portland until it's finally run out. The problem now is he decided to collect his soon-to-be $60 million a year contract. Dame, I'm sorry, but you're not going to go where you want to go unless you screw Portland, unless Portland screws themselves, especially if you want to go to Miami, which I get. I get you want to get to Miami because that's the only spot you can go right now that you have a shot at winning a championship. So it's just one big cluster F everywhere. But that's what happens. You're not going to get everything you want. You're not going to get everything you want. And I'm going to use Kobe Bryant as an example. Kobe Bryant, in the summer of 2007, demanded a trade to Pluto. It's not a coincidence that once Kobe demanded a trade to Pluto, Pluto a few years later turned out to be not a planet. Is that just a coincidence? I thought it was a weird coincidence, wasn't it? Well, what did Kobe do after a while? With some help from probably Jerry West and Dr. Buss, he calmed down. He said, you know what? What the hell am I going to do in Chicago? Be a one-man gang in Chicago? They're going to be talking about Jordan all the time, which I totally got. He wanted to go there and win a championship to show up Jordan. I get it. But the reality is Kobe settled down and said, you know what? I get it. I'm gonna go ball out and see what happens. And what happened? Well, February 1, 2020, 2008, we saw what happened. And it came out well. You've seen winning time. We've seen what's gone on in the drama of the Lakers in the 80s. You're talking about a team that was the team of the decade, yet there was drama left and right. The Chicago Bulls of the 90s, everyone disliked Jerry Krause, almost everyone, at least the stars. And everyone disliked how Jerry Reinsdorf operated. What you end up seeing is all these things, and you see those guys deal with it, just like how you're supposed to do it in real life. You deal with challenges. Instead, these pansy-ass witches, you know what word I wanted to use, but I'll use that, are the just children, crying children, wang their way to whatever they want, and we're enabling them. You, me, Gerald, everyone in here, we enable it because we keep watching it. So we're going to need some help from Adam Silver here. We're going to need his leadership to say, you know what? I'm done with this. You start demanding a trade publicly, your ass is going to get fined $1 million. Something has to change. There needs to be a precedent. There needs to be a leader that finally says enough is enough. We don't really have that. I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for leaders, but we're not getting them in so many facets in life. So many ways. Where's the leadership? Leadership in just the Kobe thing. Jerry West, Dr. Bust talking him down the ledge. Jerry West telling Kobe in 2004, what are you doing? What do you mean you're going to go play in the Clippers? You're going to go play for Donald Sterling? What are you, nuts? Leadership is lacking in so many facets in life. Sports is even worse because you have these rich, entitled a-holes who think they can get whatever they want. And we've enabled it. We've allowed it. But here's where we play a part in helping. We get on here and we tell these guys, we're not going to talk about your mom, your dad, your brothers, your sisters. I'm not going to go heckle you when you're out getting some ice cream with your kid. I'm not going to bother you when you're walking to the locker room done with the game. But where I will be all over your ass is when you do stuff like this, where your profession is. I'm going to be on your ass. And that's the problem, guys. Too many scumbags yap in their bedrooms doing, you know what they're doing, Gerald, while they're doing it. I'm not going to do the gesture this time.
No, not this time, Rob.
Okay. And it's easy for them to be in that room doing that. Do it.
I'm just trying to stay on the download from YouTube.
Do it as much in their face as you can. This is as far we can get. This is as close as we can get right now where we're at. Okay. And maybe one day when we have a larger forum for the attention to get to them, and there's logic behind this. There's logic behind this. You are an embarrassment. An embarrassment to the league, to yourself, to everything in terms of your lucky God-given ability to do what you do. And if we hammer for every angle on that, instead of just yapping about how, today Lonzo Ball finally got tired of Stephen A. Smith and said, dude, I'm not walking around with no leg, you idiot. Where do you come up with this crap? Why do people watch this crap? Well, they're watching it now, but they need people like us to finally get to that level so we can drown those idiots that have no substance in what they're saying. There's no substance. There's nothing to back up what's going on. We can back up what's going on. Why is James Harden being an idiot? Because Sean just put it perfectly. Turn down one, turn down two, turn down three. How many times are we going to deal with this before you finally say, dude, I screwed up? You're the one that screwed it up. We didn't do anything. We didn't tell you anything. I'm sure your agent wanted you to sign it. I'm sure your family did. Why did you say no? And now you're bitching about it? Get the hell out of here, man. No. He needs to be called out until he acts like a goddamn professional. And shave that beard. It looks dirty. We need more Yankee rules in sports. These guys look like they've been living in freaking used trash cans all year.
You're not John the Baptist. You can't get honey from a beehive and leave it in there for 2 weeks. This is 2023, as Joe has said in the past. You can buy a stick of deodorant. You can buy a comb. You can kemp yourself.
Leadership, image. I'm not saying having a beard or a goatee. My dad, God rest his soul, had a goatee for 40 years. But he had it clean. It was always clean. It was always shaved. Always combed his hair. If he didn't comb his hair, he wore a nice hat. Present yourself. Be clean. I don't know. I just feel like everything is dirty these days. And it all starts from inside, man. These guys are dirty in so many ways. and it's being accepted more and more as we get old, because they have money. I don't care if you have money. You're a disgrace. At some point, what's that money going to get you? What? You're going to buy 4 more houses that you can only live in one house at that moment. I don't care about your money. I don't like the fact that I'm even talking about this. I'd rather be talking about the Lakers. I'd rather be talking about the excitement that's coming here in the next couple of months for the NBA. Instead, we're talking about a unkept, just blabbermouth, entitled a-hole. And then on top of that, you have their leadership backing that up by questioning a fine from a guy who disrespected an NBA official. Not a ref, an NBA official. Like yourself, like all the players. When does it end? When do we have to keep talking until it rings? Will it? Or are they going to pull some BS? Oh, you have some other agenda. No, I don't have an agenda. When you do something stupid, I'm going to call you out on it. I'm not saying it's stupid because I feel like it's stupid. It's stupid. Common sense says it's stupid. Why are you saying something like that in front of children? Oh, my general manager's a liar because he's not giving me what I want. You want to go on an interview and say something like that? Okay, I'll buy it. You're in front of children, in front of people that have nothing to do with what's going on. Why are you doing that? And then the other freaking clown, Joel Embiid, I might win a championship maybe somewhere else. Really? After all the crap that Philly has put themselves through, the process to get your ass your MVP, now 2 months later you're throwing them under the bus? Man, go eat you know what and fall off a freaking curb, man. Seriously. Pathetic. You guys are all pathetic. And I'd say it to his face, live, looking up to him like this. And there'd be nothing he can do about it. He can smack me, and I wouldn't sue him either. I just want to see if he'd smack me.
Once again, it's the Lakers fast break. It is Joe Soro. Magic Man. Magic Man, were you going to go up and, what'd you say? Did you want to slap Joe Soro? What?
I didn't say that. I said,
okay.
I said, there's no way.
You could Sean could hit me and I'd be okay with it. You know, I've gotten into fights with friends and we had beer like 10 minutes later. We're guys.
There you go, Magic Man. There you go. You've got a free shot right there waiting for you when you see Joe.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I can handle, pain don't hurt. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze, one of my favorites of all time.
Rest in peace. I was going to say I would never hit Joe. Joe's a big brother. I would never strike somebody I consider family. The last time I got in a fight with, I think, was the 5th grade. I'm a lover, not a fighter. At least that's what the girls always say.
Okay, all right, do tell.
But anyway, yeah. I couldn't agree more with Mr. Soro about what he's saying. Like, and again, Gerald, it's kind of a reflection of the times. It's almost as if, like what Joe was saying, it's like Harden's a symptom of this society rather than an actual disease, but he's got all the symptoms: whiny, self-centered, narcissistic, not introspective at all, only when it comes to self-interest and nothing else. And quite frankly, Gerald, if you wanted a max contract, why the hell did you decide to shoot 6 for 26 in a game 7 and expect a team to roll out the red carpet for you and give you everything you wanted when you couldn't even get them to the conference finals?
Excellent point. Excellent point indeed. So there we stand with the James Harden saga. It will continue. And as it continues, because we love good drama, whether it's Lakerholics.com or whether it's the Philadelphia 76ers, we love good NBA-related drama. And so go ahead and continue checking with us here at the Lakers Fast Break. But before we end out, We talked about, Joe, the drama as far as the possibility with winning time, because you mentioned winning time in your speech, in your slash rant slash complaint slash monologue, whatever. I want to go ahead and ask you this, though, my friend. When it comes to winning time, it is episode 3. I know you've been keeping up to date. We talked at length about Jeff Pearlman, author Jeff Pearlman, who is now producer, who actually wrote the book that inspired this TV show. And again, I have 2 great interviews with Jeff, one on this very particular subject before the series came out. We understand his concern as far as the future of the series going forward, but the series itself, again, it is now dealing with the early to mid 80s situation where the Lakers had just lost against Houston in the playoffs, looking to regain their form, but heading into the dreaded year of 1984 after, of course, what happened in 1983 as well. But your thoughts, my friend, on what's going on with the Lakers and winning time. You see the story goes out there. Jeannie Buss has been quoted as saying that, like we talked about on the show, that she actually, despite all the different entertainment changes that have been made with the series, she does, for the most part, like the portrayal by John C. Reilly of her dad. Let me ask you this, though. If it were to be going ahead and seeing a demise by the end of the season after what you saw in the latest episode, would you be sad, really sad, that he didn't get to finish it out?
Yes, because the story is compelling. And I would hope that someone picks up the show and continues the show, because whomever did the casting for this show should win an Emmy. Defined lookalikes, the star power. John C. Reilly is a movie star. Sally Field is an Oscar-winning movie star. Now, I know she's passed away in the show, but we're talking, and everyone is just great. Everyone is great at what they're doing. And it needs to finish, and it also needs to continue for the next dynasty, which is the Shaq and Kobe dynasty. Those things will be important, at least for me to watch. I'd like to watch that. I think there's something there. But at least take care of the Showtime team. We need to finish it off until 1991. That's how the story started. We need to finish that. We need to finish Showtime at that point. And I found myself watching episode 3 and connecting with Larry Bird and Red Auerbach, which is, I know, sacrilege as a Laker fan, but I think more like Red Auerbach and Larry Bird than I do Magic and Dr. Buss. There are a little bit of things that Magic and Dr. Buss do that I do. I like to smile. I like to have a good time. I'm sociable. I'm not saying I'm a shut-in, I should say, like Larry Bird, but the ferocity of Larry Bird is something I admire and I try to emulate every day of my life. I'd say I'm a blend of both. And Red Auerbach, when he said winning and putting a banner in the rafter doesn't make me happy, it makes me a miserable bastard. It's true. I don't think about the three-peats. I don't think about the back-to-back titles. I don't think about 2020. I still think about Robert Horry's missed shot in 2003, 2004's debacle, 2008 debacle, 2011 sweep of Dallas, Kobe's, Achilles, the Chris Paul trade. I think about that more than I do the wins. It's tough. It's just the appetite to win. It never goes away, and you always think about the more you could have won. And that's a lot of the reasons why Michael Jordan is number one. Yes, he didn't win a championship every year he was in the league, but when he was there, he never lost. He never lost at Carnegie Hall. He never lost there. He never not performed number one in that building, right? I'm using a metaphor, obviously. And that's what sets him apart. And on top of that, in this current generation, he's still top. He's the top guy. No one's won more. On top of the fact that he's won more, he never lost. That's why he's number one. If Kobe had won in 04 and 08, the discussion would be different. If Shaq had won in 95 and 04, his center status would likely be number one. Magic, you know we've talked about that. I'll circle around to that now that we've talked about it. Magic's career would have changed completely in terms of the all-time best if Worthy doesn't pass the ball to Henderson. His career completely changes off that one pass, and that's sports. Robert Horry's in and out. Magic's career was defined differently because of one bad pass by someone else. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl and an MVP because a cornerback executed a once-in-a-lifetime play. They prepared for it, but he executed it at the perfect time. That's how close it is. And as far as drama, I'm not much of a TV guy. I don't watch network TV. The Walking Dead was, I think, the last show I was kind of into until they completely butchered that about 5 years ago. So the reason why
as soon as Negan came in, that turned off a lot.
Well, Negan coming in was, in my opinion,
it's the series.
It's arguably one of the greatest entrances, if not the greatest entrance I've ever seen on TV.
But it turned off a lot of people. I thought it was good, but it turned off a lot of people.
It was perfect. It was perfect with what he did. The problem is what they did after.
Yeah.
What they did after was, I believe it was way too talky. I think there was way too much. Let's give everybody a shot on the show, and it completely diluted the
they went from an 18 million a week audience to one
because you spread out. You turned the show into a let's have this person get their turn. This is show business, guys. We don't want to watch mediocre actors. I'm sorry, I don't. I want to watch badass actors. Okay, Jennifer Lawrence is a badass actor. Do you see me being the kind of guy that would watch No Hard Feelings? Do I look like the guy that would watch a movie like that? No. But you know why I did? Because she's good. And Matthew Broderick's in it. There's a lot of cachet there for me, too. This guy I grew up with. Okay? Talent rules. If you're not talented, I don't want to see you, and I don't want to work with you. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be mean. I want to see talent, especially when it comes to entertainment. I want to see talent. Don't give me this BS that we're going to try to make things more able for whomever. That. I want the most talented person on there so I can be entertained, because not a lot of people can do what they do. Now, this show has entertainment value. You have amazing actors on there. You have an amazing story. It's got to get support. At what point does this show not get support? If this show does not get support, then the entertainment system is done. Either it changes completely or stop producing anything of quality. And we've been down this road a lot. The entertainment business, even before the strike, has been just a mess because of what I just told you that happened with The Walking Dead. We are not rewarding talent. Reward talent, and the audience will come. And I know this is going to hurt a lot of you, but I'm going to be honest with you on this, and it's the truth. When people look at Brad Pitt, they don't want him to be a regular guy. They want him to be a god. So whenever you hear people talking about, oh, he's just like us. He went to the store and he got fruit. No, Women want him to be Brad Pitt, unattainable. That's the excitement. What's exciting when you're a person, right? Something you can't get, you want to get it, right? That's what that is. And if you don't have that ability, you shouldn't be on TV. You shouldn't be entertaining anything. Same thing with Kobe. Same thing with Jordan. You think people look at Jordan and say, oh, Jordan, he smokes a cigar and we smoke cigars. He's like us. No, he's not. He's mean. He's a tyrant. He'll bite your face off to win. It's what I like. I want winners. That's it, guys. That's my rant. I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping I've entertained the last couple nights. I mean, you guys, there's been material to rant about, and I think it's a good forum, pardon the pun, to express it, because I don't think there's enough of this going on, because everyone's afraid to get judged. Everyone's getting afraid to get canceled. Everyone's afraid to lose their jobs. The beautiful thing about our show is we don't have to answer to anyone. We don't have to answer to anyone. We keep it within the guidelines in terms of family and derogatory comments. That's fine. I get that. But as far as legitimate opinions and rants and telling the audience what's going on, this is what's going on. And this is universal, guys. This is not, you don't have to be on any particular side or aisle to say this or to think this. This is going on. I'm in homes every day, all kinds of homes. I got the pulse of the country every day. I know what's going on in everyday homes, regular homes. And believe me, more people think the way we think. The problem is they're too much of a pussy to say anything about it. Sorry, I had to use that word. It was just too perfect.
I knew you were going to. But before we head on
just
out,
a pussycat.
Meow, indeed. Before we head on out, Magic Man, to finish up our last comments on the episode 3 of Winning Time. I hope it does stay around. I like the show, not as well as Joe. I do think the performances, especially by John C. Reilly, are good. I think a little bit, some of it is over the top and not realistic. But, and again, that's to the, obviously the goal is entertainment. So Max decided to go ahead and, in some cases, really take it to the extreme. But your thoughts, though, it deals right now with Larry Bird's background and story. As far as I like the fact that they reminded us that he once did play, or was intending to play, or intending to fill out his college career at Indiana before leaving, getting homesick, and playing for Indiana State. I like getting reminded of those facts that we often forget about, because those took place in the 70s and early 80s. Your thoughts on this, though, my friend, when it comes to that latest episode? They also talked about the beef that was going on, the real-life beef between Norm Nixon and Magic Johnson, and Jerry Buss taking the guys to Vegas to try and mend it out, but also just the way that the Lakers, after they won that initial championship, started to get a little bit fractured, even amongst the coaching staff between Westhead and Riley. I've told you, I love Riley, I love Westhead, always have a place in my heart for both those guys, but I understand, as like the rest of the team is going on, there started to be a little bit of a mix of oil and water.
100%, Gerald. 100%. Obviously, a fictional portrayal is just that. And look, I understand the Loco's reluctance and hesitancy and just sheer. He's from a different time, Gerald. Like, my grandparents are that age, and they don't understand reality TV, man. It's a different age.
But if it's you, let's just say that it's you and Joe and I. It was a Max wanted to make a show of this show, behind the scenes or in front of the scenes, and they blew it up. Joe and I know, since our background, some of our background in our lives has been working in the industry, I know they're going to sensationalize it. But someone such as yourself, who is not been part of the Hollywood, only seen it as far as on TV and movies, maybe it would be a shock to you to see how much they would sensationalize it, over the top, Sean, characterization, a character, as it were. I want to hear your thoughts on this. That's what Jerry West is crying about, because it is an over the top evaluation of who Jerry was. It takes what Jerry West was, the neurotic, the guy who couldn't even watch the games for the Lakers, but still in his heart wanted to do it very much to win, and was a brilliant mastermind. And they did it. They multiplied it by 10. Your thoughts, my friend, on that?
Yeah, 100% drilled. And you know what? I mean, it is a fictional portrayal, and
In some cases, really fictional.
The stories about his violent temperament, yeah, it's probably a little over the top, but something. I think that comes with the territory. He was more, and again, he was more of an introverted, angry person. I remember his wife would say that she couldn't talk to Jerry West after a loss, Gerald, when they were riding home in the car. Like, it was just silent. It was pure silence. So to see him, breaking golf clubs and just beating his chest like
I think
foghorn
the one where he was
leghorn.
crying and screaming in the side house in his underwear, I think that was probably the one where everybody's going like, wow, that's a little way over the top.
Yeah, it was.
He wasn't really crying, though.
Was he crying? I thought he was crying.
No, he never cried.
He
might have been wailing, like,
yeah, something like that. He was in a world of hurt at that
I
point.
think he was just depressed, and Sharman comes in kind of going like, Jerry, what the hell are you doing? He's just like, leave me alone. So just like what his wife said, wouldn't talk to anybody.
Mm-hmm.
It's an over exaggeration, but there's truth behind it.
In it. There's a kernel of truth in it.
Oh yeah,
Joe.
yeah.
That's
there's
correct.
a kernel, but it's like it. That's what. But I'm saying, as Joe and I would know, if there was a show made of us like that, we would probably be expecting something multiplied to the 10th power, but not.
It would
everybody.
be hard to imitate what I'm doing, though. See, I'm outward. Jerry's a little more professional than I am. He keeps kind of things kind of close to the chest. Me, I'm out and about. If you had a good actor, let's say, that played my part, all he had to do is come hang out with me, and he would be able to do what I do. I'm the same way off the air, guys. You can talk to my wife, talk to my friends. And the reason why I have friends and I have a wife is because at the end of the day, I treat them all well, and I'm one of the few guys that they believe will rip people's throats out if anybody gets near them.
100%.
And when you have friends and you have family, and there's a protector in the area, that tends to hold a lot of weight. It's important. It's important to understand that. Those who stay understand. Those who don't stay are likely having issues internally. I've seen it for a very long time, because the truth, you can't be truthful 100% of the day because you'll get exhausted. But those who are close to you, those who have been around you 20, 30 years, they know what's coming. When they make, and when they get defensive, there's a difference between someone who projects and those who are hurting. And that's where, as a human being, you got to really decipher without going crazy. Because I have very small tolerance for drugs. I don't like drugs. I loathe it. But I have friends that have problems with it. And it'd be easy for me to just go to the house and say, clean up your act. But I don't know if they're going to go literally clean up their act, like on a building. So you got to be careful too.
We'll see what happens, but it is winning time. Please support
Jack
it.
Black. Yeah.
Jack Black playing Magic Man. I could see that. Absolutely.
I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew if someone would drop in the Val Kilmer at such an easy reach. I've been called Val Kilmer all my entire life, and my response always is, I want his paycheck.
What paycheck? It hasn't worked in 10 years.
At that time, when it was being called in the 80s and 90s and 2000s, he was still working.
He had a lot of money towards the end.
Still.
Did you watch his documentary?
Yeah, I've seen his documentary. I still would like his residuals though at that point in time, but
I don't think know that much.
And Gerald, just going back to winning time. I mean, like we said, there's a kernel of truth in everything. I thought they went a little overboard with Norm and Magic, particularly with that scene when they play one-on-one at a party that never happened.
The Norm Nixon one, yeah, where he's
yeah.
in the mink coat and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, that never happened. So that was a dramatization. But again, there's like a kernel of truth in that. That like Mike Coop has talked about that, and he'd be the foremost expert on it because Coop saw it all. Coop said that Magic and Norm, while being professional, also had a personal rivalry. And while there wasn't overt hostility, there was just something about their relationship where they were just ultra competitive with one another, whether it was getting water or dribbling with both hands or rebounding. It just seemed that there was ultra competitiveness. And, the portrayal is the portrayal, right, Gerald? As you said, when you're
although I really think it's always cool when a son plays his father, as we saw in Straight Outta Compton. We're seeing the same thing here with Winning Time with Norm Nixon's son, who's playing him in the role. So yeah,
he's phenomenal. By the way,
phenomenal. Yeah,
Devon is playing. No one knows really who Norm Nixon is unless you're a Laker basketball type. No one really. I mean, I know he's married to a famous person. He's been with her for 40 years, but no one really knows who Norm Nixon is. He's not a general audience type of guy, but just his acting alone is good. And you can't say it wasn't a good relationship. They won 2 championships together. And I believe they traded Norm because they wanted Byron Scott. I think that's really what drove them more in that deal. It wasn't so much we needed to get rid of Norm. They just won 2 championships. So that part won't be told because they got to build the drama up. But I think adults need to grow up and understand this is not real all the way, especially when it says it at the beginning of the show. But because Jerry West's character embellished Jerry's mannerisms, I like Jerry West more now than I did even before. And I loved the man before. Because I think inside him, that's what he wanted to do. He just, in real life, likely controlled it. I know I would have hated that trophy too. You're giving me this MVP when I lost? What the? Yeah. I would have been pissed too. Not at the fact that they gave me the MVP. It's just I had lost this damn game that should have won. So, I don't know. I really, really hope they can continue the show. I think it's phenomenal. I really enjoy it. And we need to get Jeff Pearlman on here when we're all on here so we can talk to him a little bit more because I want to find out more information on the Lakers.
Maybe something I'll get down the line. I want to wait until season two is done, and I don't know if we'll get a automatic renewal. You know what? Renewals these days with these streaming services, that even doesn't mean a thing. We saw last week Amazon cut 2 shows that they had previously actually given the go ahead for season 2, and they put it, a couple months later. Oh no, we were actually joking on that. So yeah, we canceled these shows. So we could see HBO pick up the show for another 3rd season, and then maybe not actually end up.
Is streaming really going to be the future here? Is this it?
Cable and broadcast are archaic, man.
Are they really though? Are they really?
I think some of the best shows are on streaming.
But
most of the best shows are on.
It just doesn't seem like there's enough. The whole point of the strike is these guys are not getting what they're supposed to get.
And I understand that. I'm not telling you different. And they do need to get their just rewards on that, because when you see Netflix has 220 plus million subscribers, and you see something that's been viewed millions and millions of times, and you're getting only pennies on the dollar on it. Like, for instance, Suits. It's been the #1 show the past 2-3 weeks on Netflix. This is a rerun show that's been out there for a long time. It already ended as a series. Do you think all those Suits actors are going to get a lot? Do you think Meghan Markle? Not
I think streaming.
Some of the other actors there, they're not going to get squat.
I think streaming was good when it had, just like Bloodhound said, I think streaming was good when you had Netflix. Then Amazon, okay, and then Apple TV, things like that.
But Netflix was a loser as far as their overall blueprint, Bloodhound. For years, they're only finally starting to break even and turn a profit because they had so much in the way of content that they were spending on. But they had built up a lot. They had built up a nice nest egg because of that DVD by mail stuff that they did for an entire decade. So
I don't like the fact that my viewing, the quality of the viewing is based off of an internet connection. I prefer a satellite or a direct connect.
I'm just telling you.
That's the problem I have, especially with this YouTube thing with the NFL. I hate that. I hate that it's on YouTube. And I love YouTube, but I hate that it's on YouTube because it's predicated on a goddamn internet. I don't want that. I want to watch the game where I know, okay, if a thunderstorm comes, fine, I get it. Okay, but I've never had my TV go out on me other than a thunderstorm in the 11 years I've had DirecTV. Well, 12 years now. Now I got to wait. Okay, YouTube, it might slow down. Man, come on. How am I going to get the live game? Really live. I know there's a delay in TV too, but it's off online all the time.
Well, which is more cost effective? Running miles and miles and miles of cable, or just basically
the cable's already been laid out. Now you're asking me to go pay $65 a month plus $400 for NFL ticket. Now I got to pay another 65 goddamn dollars to watch the NFL. There's no DVR. Oh, I got to get NFL Plus now. Now I got to spend another $10. Then I got to remember another sign in, and then another password, and another goddamn app I got to download.
DVR is available. DVR is available.
Though. It made where?
YouTube has it. I got it. YouTube TV has it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I just, like all the Lakers games.
Knowledge is power, Joe.
Yeah.
The more you know.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, I just put on Lakers on the YouTube TV, and it always gets every game. So there you go.
So you have YouTube.
I have YouTube TV.
And what do you pay? $64.99 a month, right?
Yep, in that range, yeah.
Okay. And then the NFL ticket's going to be cheaper for you, right? Because you have YouTube TV, and that's all you have. You don't have anything else.
I got the cable. To actually lean into what you're saying, my internet is based off the cable. So you're right on that one. I will give you credit for that one. But there are some more non-cable alternatives for Wi-Fi that people still use out there. I don't know if it's Verizon or other services, but I know I have Cox out here in Las Vegas, and it's at best. Meh.
It's the principle, Kurt. It's not about the money. So. It's the principle. Now I gotta,
They're trying to cut down on that. There are no.
I preferred one spot for my things, guys. I mean, am I asking for too much? There was a time when I had HBO, the NFL, the pay-per-view, the NFL ticket, all in one spot. Now I got to go to 4 different places. This was supposed to get easier, not harder or more of a nuisance.
Well, I agree with you. It turned into cable all over again. Where it's not, everything's still a la carte instead of just one bundle.
Now, and that's the funny part is the public begged. They begged for a la carte, right? They're like, look, I don't watch 80% of these channels I have on TV. Can I get what I want? Yes, that's fine. But the problem is I still have to get this to get this. It's still not a la carte, really. You have to get pigeonholed into something else. I don't know. I think they made it more dumb. I think that it's more dumb. Streaming to me is just not. I prefer having that. I prefer having it live on TV, and I prefer to watch my shows where I'm not worried about the freaking internet connection going out.
You're right. You're right, R. Anthony, and welcome to the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Please like and subscribe if you can. But he's quoting you. He hates streaming as well. I hate streaming. I like my cable. Get off my lawn. I hear you, brother, but got to get with the times or be left behind, Joe. But I like a man who has his principles. Yeah, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. Joe does have his principles. I will give him that. Absolutely. But Sean, great episode. Joe was fantastic. You as well. Before we head on out, we've got a conversation tomorrow with Mike Anguilano talking the Detroit Pistons. It's going to be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Looking forward to the conversation. I am trying like heck to get more team reports done. Still trying to get conversations and confirmations on that lined up for everybody. But any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
Yeah, I'm helping out Gerald on that front as well. We're doing our best here to try and get as many voices onto the pod as possible. Look, I know everybody probably would like to see us concentrate more on, focused Lakers content, but we feel that having more voices on the pod will suit us down the road. It'll reap fruits. So we hope everybody will tune in to our guests, and I'm enjoying talking with Mike. I'm not going to enjoy talking to him about the Pistons because they just seem to be in a negative feedback loop of either 15 to 25 wins is about their peak right now, Gerald. So,
and that's the thing. They've got so much talent on that team. It just does not fit.
It doesn't fit.
Yeah.
It doesn't fit. No, that's kind of what the Pistons are. It's like a square, trying to fit a square peg into a round hole.
R. Anthony says, Joe, he got here late, but still great to have you here. Love you guys. Are we winning this year? I think we can. Go Lakers. We all think that the Lakers have a strong chance of winning this season. I think that's something that every one of our panelists, homerism and Lakerism aside, because we do call it like we see it here on this show. And it's not always in the best interest of the Lakers, but I think that they have a good, solid team, provided health is first. And foremost.
We were not sugarcoating anything last year. We didn't. We picked. At least I picked Miami and Denver to be in the finals. And I had no positive feeling going into the season with the roster we had. And we were right until it got fixed. And it didn't take them long to flip the switch, so to speak. And it needs to be acknowledged that was a pretty phenomenal run from how they started and they didn't just, this happened 2 months before they got to the Western Conference Finals. It wasn't in December where they had a meeting of the minds and said, look, let's clean up our act. No, this was like at the tail end of the damn season and they still did their run. So you gotta believe that you've got a better roster this coming year. You got more depth. And then even if you said that if AD and LeBron played exactly how they played last year, you'd be good because you'd have 4 more months to do what they do, which would mean they have a higher seed. They have a higher chance of playing. Imagine if the Lakers had home court against Denver in the Western Conference Finals. Would that series have gone differently? Maybe. So that's what I'm looking at. Get some home games to start the playoff series and get a little bit less hectic until
they can get in the top 4 of the Western Conference by the end of the season. I think that bodes well for them.
And I think they will. I really think they will, barring end of the year injury. It's got to have to be end of the year injury. I think that's what it would be.
Well, once again, It is truly appreciated for Magic Man Sean Grice and Joe Soro. Especially give big a shout out to Magic Man. It is 2:00 in the morning where he's at, and big shout out to him. Truly appreciate him staying up with us late tonight. I know Joe and I said we had to do it late. I know when he's when we send that out to him, Magic Man, we got to go on late. If you can't make it, no problem. No, I'll be there. Man, that's why we just like you so much, man. Just do a great job with us here. Joe, epic rants as always. You gave us 15 more ideas for t-shirts today. I just cannot thank you enough for that. We're just going to be rolling in t-shirt money. There you go. Absolutely. We're going to be like the next hot topic there with all the ideas and designs that Joe made for us today. Looking forward to that. And P Master too. Yeah, P Master helped us out as well. Yeah, I got to give him big props, but he left. I'm sorry. That's too bad. Thanks again. Truly appreciate you joining us. Tomorrow again, we have Mike Anguilano talking about the Detroit Pistons. Looking forward to that conversation. Joe, any last thoughts, my friend, before we head on out?
No.
Okay. You said a lot already. That's okay, indeed. But we've got the merch ideas. The merch is on the way. If you have a specific thought, a specific request on a type of merchandise for the Lakers Fast Break you are interested in, don't hesitate to let us know in the comments or social media or LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. Yes, Sean is a trooper indeed. Absolutely. The best of the best right there for you. So for Magic Man, Sean Grice, Joe Soro, this is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow when we're talking Detroit Pistons with Mike Anguilano. Does he think that Detroit will finally start seeing the light and seeing if they can get Cade Cunningham and the Pistons into a playoff spot? Maybe? No, we don't think so. But will it be a little bit better outlook for the Pistons? We'll find out his thoughts and his thoughts on the Lakers right here in the best chat room that's out there, of course, right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.